Hi everyone, my name is Claire McKay Bowen, and with me is Fioretto, and we're going to be presenting on the impacts of data privacy and equity on public policy. So this tutorial surveys recent work in the intersection of differential privacy and fairness and provides a focused perspective on the policy implication of using differentially private data for critical decision-making tasks. The tutorial will discuss the equity implications of using differential privacy in decision problems and learning tasks, reviews the conditions under which privacy and fairness may have aligned or contrasting goals, analyzes how and why differential privacy may exacerbate bias and unfairness, and describes available mitigation measures for the fairness issues arising in differentially private systems. The tutorial will also provide a unified understanding of the main challenges and potential risks arising when deploying privacy-preserving machine learning or decision-making tasks under a fairness lens. So just as a quick reminder for those who are watching this video, this is just kind of a teaser of our tutorial. We hope that you can join us live later this week. Now, there are three parts to this tutorial. In the first part, I'll be talking about what is differential privacy, or excuse me, what is data privacy and confidentiality? Why is that important? How do public policymakers gain access to confidential data? And how are data used for public policy decision-making, and some examples of the public policy decision-making with that data. So what do I mean by that? Well, in the United States, on the first day of President Biden's day in office, he made this executive order on advancing racial equity and supporting for underserved communities through the federal government. And this order in particular was trying to advance equity for all, including people of color and others who have been historically underserved and marginalized and adversely affected by persistent poverty and inequity. And although this was such an impactful executive order that could have huge impacts on other aspects of public policy making, one of the biggest issues that a lot of the federal agencies and White House offices that are charged with this executive order in the United States are facing is that they don't actually have access to this data because of it's because of data privacy concerns. And so this is why it's so important to better understand why it is important to know how these various privacy preserving technologies can impact our access to data, why it's important, and how we can be better about it to ensure that we're not being biased, even though we have this goal of being equity for all.
So I'll take and describe what we want to do in part two. So essentially here, we're going to dive a little bit further into the details of why certain conditions, so why unfairness arises in privacy preserving processes. And in particular here, so firstly, we're going to make a distinction. So we're going to use differential privacy as the definition of privacy that we're adopting. So this is a definition that has been considered now the de facto standard for protecting data privacy in various computations. It's appealing because this definition allow us to reason and bound the risk of disclosing information due to a participation of an individual into a data set or into a computation more generally. And really, it's important to understand that this concept here relies in a way or in another through noise addition. So we're relying by a stochastic process that uses some noise, either on the data or on the mechanism itself, in order to produce some results that mask the participation of the individuals. But what we want to understand is what is the effect of this noise here onto the downstream decision processes. And we want to understand what is this effect in terms of a fairness lens. So what do we mean by this statement here? So let's consider the setting that it's outlined on this slide here. We'll have some sensitive data sets, which includes information of individuals, which have some sensitive attributes. And we're going to use a data release mechanism, M, which produces a privacy preserving version of this data set, X tilde. Now, this data set, it's essentially ready to be released in the public. And usually what happens is that this released data can now be used for several decision tasks, such as allocating resources to entities of individuals, or making legal decisions, or understanding whether individuals might qualify for loans and so on. And so we want to study the fairness impact of those decisions, which are run over privacy preserving data. In a similar context, we are taking this sensitive data and we're using this data to train a machine learning model. And so here, to render this model privacy preserving, what we're typically doing is altering the model parameters so that the outputs will preserve the quality of differential privacy that it's intended to preserve. And what we want to do is to study the effect of those of these outputs on especially the accuracy of this task, and in particular on the disparity of accuracy among different subgroups.
All right. And then, of course, in the final part of our tutorial, we're going to talk about what are the open challenges and some of the equity risks. And so one of the examples that we'll walk through is, of course, the 2020 census. For those who are not familiar with this or from outside the United States in particular, every 10 years, the United States conducts a census of all individuals who are living in the United States. And this is very important because that data is used to figure out the allocations of our congressional seats, which determines votes for each of the 50 states in the United States, along with the $1.5 trillion budget, redistricting those voting areas, figuring out emergency evacuations, and so on and so forth. So a lot of big impacts right there. And so this splash screen out here is actually from an article that hit in the early 2020 about how the changes to the census, in particular the privacy preserving methodologies, could make small towns disappear. It's becoming this like small population problem where if somebody is unique in the data, it's hard to protect that individual. And so sometimes you have to drastically alter that person's representation or remove them from the data entirely. But because of this issue, you can impact these more sparsely populated areas in the United States. And so this is why we'll be discussing that kind of fairness or bias issues that might arise with certain preserving methodologies, or perhaps maybe it isn't actually impacting these communities as much as people think because of the common beliefs or misunderstandings of certain privacy preserving methodologies. Wow, that was kind of a mouthful, but continuing on here, just to emphasize that our goal for this tutorial is to demystify some of the common beliefs about the interaction between differential privacy and fairness. And we are going to provide, again, a focused perspective on the policy implications of using differentially private data for these decision-making tasks. So if you're really interested in our tutorial, please check it out. That's coming later this week. And of course, if you're unable to attend it, then please contact us. We'd be happy to talk with you and have this very open discussion about, again, the intersection of these privacy preserving methodologies and public policy. Can't wait to see you all.